Cayman Voices was a dream that I had for several years now. It's about taking the power of storytelling to embrace our own collective history as a people. Through our individual stories, we're able to see the common thread that binds us together as one. One person's personal journey has become our collective culture, heritage, and history. This series will show people from all walks of life sitting down with me as the host and going through their life journey. Sometimes there are unknown elements of their lives, but ultimately we're going to walk away having learned something new with every person that we sit down with. I guess I would explain it as an exploration of our story. I'm naturally curious about people and their lives, so Cayman Voices is exciting and allows me to capture this for everyone to enjoy. We are seeking out Caymanians, multi-generational, as well as some who have moved here to, uproot their entire lives and to make this their home. This dream would not be possible without some sponsorship, and so I'd like to thank the DART organization for stepping up to the plate to ensure that we're able to deliver regular monthly content for our viewers to enjoy. So sit back, kick up your feet, turn up the radio, relax, and listen to Cayman Voices. Okay, we're here for another segment of Cayman Voices. Absolutely delighted to be in the beautiful district of West Bay. And with me today, we have Miss Josephine Emily Knox, formerly McTaggart, and we have Miss Cicely Elizabeth Roulstone, who we're going to call Miss Beth today. So Miss Beth and Miss Josephine, good day, ladies. How are you?
Good morning. We're doing well.
Yes, so good to see you. Miss Josephine's checking her watch to make sure it's still morning.
Right.
That's okay. So we're gonna just talk a little bit about your history growing up in the Cayman Islands. As Caymanians say, who your fa, who your mama is, who your daddy is, and just about your childhood and what are some of the things that you love the most about growing up in Cayman of yesteryear, if you will. So the two of you are actually sisters, is that right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
The oldest one, the youngest one.
The oldest
Other
and the
one
youngest.
died, middle one.
The middle sister
There were three
died.
of us.
Yes.
Great.
So let's talk a little bit then about your lineage, right? So McTaggart is a well-known name, but what part of the McTaggart clan are you connected to? Who were your parents?
I think we're connected to all the McTaggarts.
Yes.
That came from here anyhow.
Yes.
So it is the whole McTaggart clan is a pretty big group, although many of them went to the States, to earn a living and settled there, but they return periodically to for reunions and that sort of thing.
Okay. So who were your parents then?
My parents, Cicely and Fred McTaggart, and this is his siblings.
Your
Six
siblings.
of us.
And there were six children.
Yes.
Right. And tell us a little bit about your mom. Where was your mom from?
They were both from here.
They're both from
Yeah, their
Cayman.
families were here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they grew up in what area?
My dad grew up on Mary Street.
Right in Georgetown.
Yeah, right in Georgetown. I forget the name of the office building, Mary Street, and how you intersect there.
Right.
But that's where he grew up.
So
But
kind of
my mother
probably
was raised.
where I'm thinking where like Walker's Law Firm, that general area.
Yeah,
right in there.
Yeah, you pass the office complex on the corner.
Right.
If you were going down to Walker's, and there's that corner building.
Yes.
I don't remember
okay,
the name
right
of
in
it.
there. I think I can't remember now, but I know which
Yeah.
one you mean. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And my mother was raised in on the like where the fish shack and them used to be, but on
Okay.
the opposite side of the road.
Right.
And
So right in that's North Church
North
Street.
Church Street.
Yes. Okay. So they didn't grow up too far apart.
No.
But
No.
back in those days, that was probably still considered a good distance. Yes.
But we walked it every day, you know,
Yes.
going to school and everywhere we went, going to church.
Mm-hmm.
So it got to where it wasn't that big a walk.
Right. Did they ever share their story of how they met? Did they grow up as childhood friends and always knew each other, or?
They just grew up as
Yes.
childhood friends.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so your parents had 6 beautiful children. You're the eldest girl,
Yes.
and then you're the youngest girl.
And the baby.
The baby. Okay, and you two are the 2 remaining siblings. So everyone
Right.
else,
Left,
everyone else has passed. Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So tell us a little bit about your siblings. You've got a photo there of the brothers. You had 3 brothers and 3 young girls in that photo.
Right.
Yes. So who was the eldest then of the entire group?
My brother, let's see, Eddingston, Frederick, Mac, Josie, Grace, and me.
And then that's you as the baby.
Can you see it at all?
Oh yes, we can see it. Beautiful.
So we grew up in a very happy home.
Mm-hmm.
My parents, or Daddy particularly, was very involved in Elmsley Church.
Right.
So our activities sort of revolved around the church stuff, you know. And well, back, I was born in 36.
Wow.
So back then it was really, you made your own fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't have electricity, we didn't have running water. You know, we had wood stoves. Part of our life we spent on the West Bay Road, close to where the Weston would be, I think.
Okay.
All of that was
wow.
just, you know, that was just
That's
trees
what
and
after that.
shrubbery and all the
Yes.
way down. But Daddy had a little car with that, we called it a rumble seat.
Okay.
And so every few weeks we would have to drive down the road, chop the mahogany, not mahogany, the trees that were good for cooking with. It made good coals, I guess. So we had to do that, and then Daddy, we'd take it home, Daddy would chop it up. That's how we cooked for quite a long time.
Yes.
And then my brothers went to sea to start off with. That's how they earned their living. But one finally settled in New York, and he encouraged the other two to come and work there. So as they made a few dollars, they would send home things. And we
Right.
finally got a kerosene refrigerator. We didn't have
Kerosene
refrigerators back
refrigerator.
then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was very primitive. And I often tell people, I said, you know, we were poor, but we didn't know it.
Didn't know it.
Yes.
We were happy and we had enough to eat. It wasn't the fancy stuff you get today, but it's obviously very good for you because many of the old timers have lived into 100 years and over.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes. A kerosene refrigerator. Never heard of that one before.
yeah,
That's pretty interesting.
right,
Yes.
right.
So growing up in the 30s, and Miss Josephine, when were you born? What year were you born?
32.
32. Okay. So life then was relatively simple.
Very simple.
Yes. You talked about having to make your own fun. So what sort of toys
yeah.
as children would you have had access to? You don't have to hold those up the whole time.
Okay.
I don't want your arms to get tired.
Used to play.
Yeah, well, actually, we had relatives that would send us,
Oh, yes.
like at Christmas, gifts. And
us
mother
lovely
would
things.
let us play with them for a certain length of time,
Right.
couple weeks, and when she thought we were tired of them, she would put them away and keep them for the next, till we got needed something to play with, and then she'd bring
Right.
them out. And so I had toys actually up until not too long ago that she had saved, and they were in excellent shape.
Wow. Yes.
So mother was very creative, and
So-
she made all of her clothes. And our relatives would send us gifts, but basically she made our clothes.
Right.
But like going to school, we walked to school. In the beginning, we went to Triple C, and then in '49, Cayman Islands High School was introduced through the Presbyterian Church.
Okay.
I didn't
And
go
so,
there.
because Daddy was very active in the church, Presbyterian Church, he took us out of Triple C and sent us to the Presbyterian school.
Right. And that was the Cayman Islands High School at the
Yeah,
time?
back then, that's what it was
Oh.
called.
I didn't though.
You didn't go. So tell us a little bit about why didn't you go there?
You went to Triple C. She went to
Well, I
Triple
went
C
to
because she was in her final couple years of
Oh,
school.
okay.
Yeah.
And
but not-
we didn't think Daddy didn't think it was wise to take her out. So
I
she
see.
graduated from Triple C.
From Triple
Yes.
C. Okay.
I was the second one. Helen was first and I was second.
To graduate from Triple C.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they were actually the second class
Yes,
to
there was an
graduate.
older
But
class,
she's
the
speaking
oldest
of the
class.
valedictorian and the salutatorian.
I
They were
see.
young.
Okay. So wow, that was quite some time ago. And how old would you have been then when you finished at Triple C? About probably 15, 16 maybe? Or were you a
I
little
think
bit
she was.
younger?
I think she was a little bit
I
older
was older.
A little bit older. Okay. Yeah.
because she didn't go to school. You didn't go to Miss Yuna's school.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So your brothers look like they're a little bit older than you. So how much
Yeah.
older?
They
They
the
were a
oldest.
bit
They
older.
were. I hardly knew my brothers because
Right.
by the time I got to where I could remember them, they were gone. They had already left to go to
Right.
sea.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm 5 years younger than Josie.
Right. Okay. I understand.
My eldest brother was born in 1922.
Wow.
So,
It's amazing.
and I'm,
So did your brothers ever come back from New York, or did they stay overseas?
they stayed overseas till there was transportation by airplane. Well, I guess in between, they're getting a holiday on the boat. They would come home to see mother and dad. But they settled there.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So as young ladies then, what were the expectations of you growing up? Did you have chores that you had to do in the household? What was that
Oh,
like?
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
They had to be.
When we came home
had
from
to clean.
school, we had our chores. My mother gardened. She had a little garden of vegetables in the winter months, not the summer. So we'd have to pump the water from the well and take it down to where the plants were and water them.
Right.
And other chores, but that, I guess, what it was, we had to rake the yard and things like that.
And
Can't
you
help
learned
to
you
keep
learned
the
how to
house.
cook all of the favorite recipes
I didn't
and
learn to cook any
I
cooking.
didn't learn to cook them very well because I married Frank,
okay.
and he was from America, and I fixed more of the American food for him.
Ah, okay. So he
But of
didn't
course-
mind.
No, he loved Cayman food. He absolutely loved
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it wasn't something we had real often. you know.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. So, when you were finished with school, then what did you do at that point? Did you, get married right away, or did you get a job? What were the opportunities available to young ladies at that time?
I was on a job. I did go to a job.
You worked for Marion's company.
Not met.
Yeah, Marion. Mr. Ori and all of them.
Yeah, but I can't remember who the person was now. Who the first one was.
Mr. Ducan, you
Oh,
worked.
Mr. Ducan, yes.
Yes.
Yes, he was my boss, so to speak.
And what sort of work was that then?
Well, a secretary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The late Sybil McLaughlin taught us shorthand and typing.
Okay.
So I went to work too.
Yes. Now, when you said she taught you, was that in a formal school setting? Or,
Yeah, at the Cayman High School.
At the Cayman High School for you. Okay. All right. And then you went into
She was
secretary.
a wonderful lady.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And then my one of my aunts took me to the States and let me stay for a year. And when I came back, I started to work at Seaview Hotel, which the Roulstones owned, along with my uncle, Dr. McTaggart. And then the Roulstones' son came home from the service. He was in the army, and was going to stay 2 weeks, and I think he stayed a year to help them in the hotel. And over time, we got together and got married.
So that would have been your husband,
Yeah.
Mr. Frank.
Right, I
Yeah.
got married at 21.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about where your husband then came from, right? So he's an American.
Yeah, he came from Florida.
From
Tampa,
Florida.
Florida.
Okay. Very interesting.
His parents came from kind of further up north.
Yes.
His dad from New Jersey
Okay.
and his mother from Virginia. But they settled in Florida. And then when the opportunity came up for them to go into business with my uncle, well, back then, I don't think we had electricity, but from about 6 o'clock in the evening till 10 at night or something. So it was very, very primitive.
Right.
You really had to do a lot to get things going. So, I lost my train of thought now.
Yeah, you were just sharing how your husband and his family
So
came to Cayman.
that's how they
Right.
ended up coming here.
Right. So they heard about this business opportunity to.
Yeah, well, they knew my uncle, Dr. McTaggart, because he was friendly with the Websters, as Shirley was telling you. My mother-in-law was a nurse, and she she did special duty. And one of the doctors that she worked with said, Dorothy, I have a lady that I don't want anybody else to look after. You have to come and take care of her. This is in Florida. This is in Tampa.
In Tampa. Okay.
And she said, but I've just come off of a trip taking a lady back to her home up north. And I'm tiresome. It's tiresome, and I don't think I can do it. And he said, you have to do it.
Okay.
So finally she gave in and met all the Webster family along with my uncle. And through that, my uncle was a merchant as well, so he had ships that went into Florida from here. And he asked my father-in-law if he'd like to go in. He needed somebody to run the hotel. He said, there's nobody on the island that can do it. And the lady that I have now she's a teacher. She's not a tourist person. And this was definitely for tourism.
Right.
So they came down, they saw the primitive island, but it was beautiful. And they said, well, I guess we could try. So they sold everything they had
Oh, wow.
and moved here to Cayman. And that's the beginning of my association.
The
with them.
Roulstone clan came from the Tampa area. Yes, very interesting. It's amazing how we have so many connections all over the world,
Yeah, I know.
and how people came to and fro to Cayman, and just, fate, I guess, brought them
And
here.
all the seamen and everything that
Yes.
went away, that was a shock to them. to them to go leave this little spot. I know it was a shock for me. But the first time I was 17 when I left here, first time.
Right.
I couldn't believe it. When the plane was landing and all these lights, I thought, Lord, what is this all about?
Yes.
Take
And
your
where
foot off
did
of
you
that.
where did you go for your first trip?
I went to, well, I had to go through Miami.
Okay.
My brother was visiting at the time, so he
Yes.
took me to Miami.
Okay.
And we overnighted with a friend. And then he put me on a plane to go to Texas.
Oh wow.
And the funny thing is, I tried to be so, like I knew so much. I mean, I didn't want to act frightened.
Yes.
So I was putting on this good show of just being very
Calm and
calm
yes.
and everything. I had to change planes 3 times.
Uh-huh.
And so that's where I ended up. Beaumont,
Yes.
Port Arthur, Beaumont area.
But you said it was such a change, the lights,
Well, all, you know,
everything.
Miami, going into Miami especially, was a huge city then,
yes.
and still is.
Yes.
And I didn't know, we didn't have I think if we had 2 electric lights outside, that was it.
Wow.
So all of it, all the food was different. Not different, but maybe done differently. You know, cooked differently.
Good. It was good.
You
All I can tell
enjoyed the food when you
all I can
traveled.
tell you, it
Yeah,
was
and I
good.
ate and got big. I got fat.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess growing up in those days, the early days, you didn't see a lot of cars.
No,
Either.
Not many, hardly. Maybe one
3 or
two.
4. Daddy's little piece of junk that he had, which was a good little car. It served its
junk.
purpose for sure. It was a
Yes.
small car. I've got a picture of it in there.
Yes.
So, no bicycles. People,
I
few
bought my
people in
bicycle,
little
my
carriages,
first
you know,
bicycle.
horse-drawn carriage.
Horse-drawn carriages.
Like some people in South Sound, some bushes. They had a nice carriage and
Oh wow.
horse. And Mr. Selman Eden
Beautiful.
from Savannah.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
You were saying that you remember when you bought your little bicycle.
Yeah, when I first started, I worked close to where Beth was talking about, not Uncle Roy, but across from him at the Marions, and I did all my stuff from there. I mean, most of my learning, I would do dictation and things like that. And then it wasn't too long while I was there that I met someone by the window looking up. That was my first husband. Well, he wasn't a husband yet, but
He was admiring
He
you through the
became
window.
he became it quickly, yeah.
Yes.
then I met him, and it wasn't too long then when we got married.
Right.
He's from Cayman, Buddy.
Okay. Yes.
Well, his name wasn't Buddy, but
That's what they called him.
That's what you
Buddy
called
Cole.
him. His nickname. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
So, and from then, I got married, yes, and then we moved. We went to another place, which was Venezuela.
Oh wow.
So I was there 21 years.
Oh.
Then my
interesting.
husband died there,
Okay.
and I came back home here.
Right. Why did you move to Venezuela? What was in Venezuela?
Well,
your
that's where he
husband-
was working.
He was working there.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And what sort of work did he do?
What was no? I can't remember.
Something to do with
Outside work anyway.
it's something to do with
I can't remember all those things anymore.
I don't know if it was with
Yeah, that's okay. So his job then took you to Venezuela,
Yeah.
and you stayed there for 21 years.
But yeah.
Wow.
And then
So
he
you were
died,
fluent in
and
Spanish for sure.
No, I was
No?
learning, of course, but I didn't get
she's
as good as it should have been.
Okay.
I should have been, you know.
but what she spoke was perfect Spanish. Even though it wasn't you knew a lot of Spanish. She could rattle it off, but no, she doesn't remember a lot
Yeah,
of it.
that's okay.
Me gusta mucho el español. El español es muy bueno.
It's muy buena,
Bonito.
yes. No problem.
Go
So,
ahead.
life in Venezuela, what do you remember about that time?
Oh, it was wonderful.
Yes,
After I got to like it,
yes.
because it was different. I had to know it. I went all over Venezuela.
Yes, and I'm sure
And
in
it was
those,
beautiful.
it was beautiful.
It was beautiful then. I can't tell you how it is now.
Yes.
But it was beautiful then.
absolutely. And in those 27 years, you had children?
I never had any children.
You never had any children, okay.
And that's terrible. That is terrible in a way.
Yeah.
But Buddy wanted children, and we don't understand these things. I
Yes.
don't understand them.
Yeah,
But we didn't have any.
you didn't have any children, okay. So it was just the two of you then living in Venezuela. Did you work
And
while you were in Venezuela?
I worked too. I worked there too.
Yes. Okay,
Then
very good.
then my husband that was there, he got sick and he died. So I
Okay.
got back. I left there and came back to Cayman.
Yes.
And then I met an American here.
Uh-huh.
And then we got married, and he took me to the States, in the States then. And that was 33 years. I was in the States 33
Wow.
years.
Yes.
It was only 21 and a half in Venezuela.
Uh-huh.
But in the States then it was 33 years.
Okay.
So
And what part of the States did you live?
all about.
All about,
But
okay.
I loved upstate New York. I
Beautiful.
do love it very much.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
She lived in Ohio.
Yes, I lived in Ohio.
Okay.
Barbara and Roy were there.
Yes.
So,
And Michigan and New York.
Michigan also. Right.
Beautiful. And your second husband, what sort of work did he do?
What did he do? I don't remember.
He worked
He
with
was
one of the companies. I don't know if it was Hunt's,
in
the
the
manufacturers of
Okay.
all that.
food. I think it was a food.
Yes.
place.
Okay. Very good.
I'm
And-
forgetting things.
No, that's
terrible.
okay.
When you get old and decrepit, you forget.
That's okay because you're now 90.
90, going on 91.
Going on
pretty soon.
91, yes. Well,
Yeah.
you're allowed to forget a few things along the way.
You're right.
We forgot a lot.
That's okay, that's okay. So, and did you continue working all those years? Like when you were in the States, you also worked yourself, or did you?
I didn't work, but I did. It wasn't work, but it was what do you call it?
Volunteer.
Volunteer stuff. I did a
Okay.
lot of volunteer business there.
Yes. Okay, beautiful.
Right, but I didn't do
Yes.
normal work.
Okay. Well, that's good. Everybody needs good volunteers, that's for
But
sure.
there were places that they're beautiful over in that area. Excuse me.
Wonderful. And then
Put
you've
a little
moved.
water.
Yeah, that's okay. And then you've moved back now to Cayman.
But how many years it was that? I can't remember.
Nearly 10.
She's been back nearly 10 years now. Wonderful. And the two of you live together?
Yeah, she lives with me.
Wonderful.
I
So
know
that's-
she'd like to throw me out, but she don't know what to do with me.
I threaten her with the fines if she gets out of hand.
But how wonderful is that? You, the two remaining siblings, and you get to spend every day with each other now. I mean, that must be so nice.
But we don't have any problem. Excuse me.
Yes.
We really don't have any problems. Anything that would make us
Yeah.
that we
No,
don't want to love each other
Yes,
anymore. Or anything,
of course.
you know.
And one thing about Josie, she had a beautiful voice. We all sang.
God is going to do.
And
Dogs, no.
she's singing and whistling all day. So
She
it's
loves to sing.
yeah, whistling and singing.
Wow. So
I
she's a
sang
very,
a
she's a
lot.
very
Go
happy
from
person.
She
I
can go
sang a
from
lot.
calypso to the most beautiful hymns that you ever heard.
Oh, really?
I sang a
Now
lot.
she's forgetting the words a bit, but
Yeah.
then she
But I
fills it
whistle
in with
now
her
too
little.
because the singing is going bad.
Yeah.
So I whistle.
What's your favorite hymn to sing? What's your all-time favorite?
Don't tell me, it's so many.
Oh, there's so many.
That's, I could
just too
never say
many.
what is my favorite
Yeah.
No,
because
just
there's
too
so
many.
many.
There's just too many.
I love so many of them.
Yes. Sing
they're
a
so
little
beautiful.
piece. Can you sing a little piece of one for us? What's a good one? Like you said, there are so many when you start thinking about it.
I don't remember.
When you want to sing, you
Yes,
just
you have to
can't
think really
remember
hard.
which song you want to sing. Amazing Grace?
Amazing Grace. No.
Or is that hard to sing?
Well, you think about something that you'd like to.
What was Daddy's hymn he liked a lot? We were talking about it a couple of days ago.
These things, they just don't come to my mind that
Yes.
way anymore.
That's okay. So growing up in the church was really an important part.
That was
Well,
a big part.
It was a big part because we went to Sunday school and church every Sunday. Wednesday, Mother used to take us to Women's Guild,
Yes.
although we were little children, or at least I was a
I
small
was
child.
big. I was
And then Friday there was a young people's
right.
program. And then you start all over again on Sunday. But the church had activities other than, just going to church.
Yes.
Christmas time, they'd always have a bazaar
Special
Right.
things, yes.
and special things. Like this picture of the 6 of us, I don't know what the occasion was.
Yes.
But I know they had what was called fancy dresses. You go into a fancy dress thing, whatever the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you all look so pretty there in your little outfits and
I
everything.
don't know where
and-
Mother ever got all this stuff because some of that is fancy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She put it all together and made you look so beautiful.
And then the ships came in occasionally, the warships.
Mm-hmm.
The British ships would come in just to make a courtesy call or R&R. That was activity, going to see the ship. anyhow.
Right. Yes.
Uh,
Do you remember when Cayman started to get a little bit more modern? Like, do you remember when we started to get electricity or running water? When the first planes started to
Yeah.
come
Long
in?
now.
yeah, and it was a kind of slow beginning.
Yes.
But my father-in-law, they were big in tourism at that time.
Right.
There were only 2 other places: Pageant Beach Hotel, Seaview Hotel, and then there was a house in Georgetown that was called Shirley,
Bayview.
Bayview Hotel.
Bayview, no?
They called it Bayview Hotel.
Right. And that was it for tourism back in those days.
It really
Wow.
sound like drummers, no?
And that was in the area where South Church Street and Shedden Road intersect.
The intersection there. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of changes over the years.
Yeah, and we did a lot of swimming, walking in the afternoons
walking.
after supper and all. We would take a walk, meet up with our friends, and just continue to walk. So
Beautiful.
it was safe. Nobody bothered
Right,
you.
that's the thing. It was safe.
And we had wonderful friends all in Georgetown area that you could walk to.
Wonderful.
And of course, when we went to school, we met new friends.
Absolutely wonderful.
But what my father-in-law used to do when I worked there, to help to attract people, I guess, because back then, postage and stamps were kind of important. People wanted to collect. So when he would package up the brochures to be sent off, he would put make up the amount that it's supposed to be in all different denominations of stamps. And people absolutely raved about it.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So they
Yeah, they-
loved seeing the stamps of like Cayman stamps, and it made them curious
yes.
about what the
Right.
Cayman Islands was all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
beautiful.
a stamp collector too.
Oh, were
We
you?
used to have a lot of stamps, get them from all over the world.
I know. We have tons of them here that just packed away.
Beautiful. And so you worked in the hotel with your in-laws as
In-laws,
well?
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Very nice. So tell us a little bit about what that was like.
It was interesting and it was nice because people came into lunch, would come into lunch. They had a nice dining room, and Miss Rosabelle Bird was a cook,
Roosevelt
and
Bird.
she could cook. Everybody loved her. So the people that worked in town, in the offices, many of them would come in for lunch.
Okay.
In the evening, sometimes, at one stage, they did like not square dancing, similar to that, I can't remember. Then an evening that people would, ask if they could come and do this dance, practice this dance. By then, there were people coming, I guess, a little bit from England and other areas, Jamaica, to teach in the schools, and the younger people. And there was Girls' Guildry back then, and not Girls' Brigade as it is today.
Okay.
They would teach us different things.
Yes.
And my in-laws would, some evenings for the guests, they would show a movie, a local movie that a man by the name of Bob Fuller put together. And that was to entertain the guests. With nothing else to do. And there were a few bars, and the beach club opened up. What was the beach club?
Okay.
The hatches
Right.
built. There was something beginning to function, I guess, by the mid-60s. You could see more people coming to the island.
Right. Okay. Beautiful.
Of course, a lot of the tourists that came in the winter because of the temperature,
Right.
and then the summer was slow.
The
So-
summer was a bit slower. Yes. And so people would enjoy your singing so much that I understand they'd stop and visit with you and just sit on the porch and listen to.
Oh, people
Yeah,
did.
we had a swing on our front porch along with a bench and a couple of
I think
things.
swing.
And anybody
it's
that
up
walked
there.
by would either stand up
I think
and
it's up on the
listen
floor
to
there.
us, and my mother would tell them, "Oh, you can come up and sit on
Right.
this porch."
Wonderful.
But yeah, we sang. We had to do something to entertain ourselves.
Oh, we had a good life, a good young life that it wasn't crowded with some of the things like they today.
Much simpler but nice.
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. So Miss Beth, you have a few children of your own.
Yep, I have 3 children.
Okay.
Shirley over there, Sharon, and Frank. And then I have 3 grandchildren,
Okay.
Haley, Hunter, and Catherine.
Beautiful. And so what would be, as a mother, what would you say gave you so much joy raising your own children?
Oh, well, it was always a joy. We had our little squabbles, and they didn't like when they were disciplined or anything. But I guess I had with my parents and Frank's parents, there were a lot of things that they would do with them, particularly Frank's parents. My parents didn't. They were always teaching him about God and the Word of God. And Mimi and Fafa, who they called Frank's parents, did a lot of things. Take him out for a drive or do things with them in the early days. And then it got to where we would go to Virginia for several weeks in the summer.
Right.
And it's always something to do.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Very nice. Now your parents, we have a picture there of the two of them. They were married for a really long time.
Yeah, I think they were married in 1926, could it have been? Mother,
I don't-
Daddy was born in
I don't remember.
1892, and my mother in 1894.
Wow.
So that's 6. She must have been about 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And all of her relatives, she had siblings, but I think there must have been about 6 of them. They all moved away to
Yeah. Most
earn a
Texas,
living.
I think. Texas?
Yeah, in Alabama and around there, where the boats used to go in. So that's what Daddy did. And after they got married, she said, "No, you have to find something else to do instead of going away all the time." So he quit the ships and he was a handyman. He could do anything. But he was basically a carpenter.
Right.
And he helped to build like Seaview Hotel and other places.
Used to cut hair and everything.
Yeah, and one or two old ladies that lived when I was small.
Right.
He would go and cut their toenails.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, some of them would be curling, they would be so long.
Oh my goodness.
And that was one of his Sunday jobs.
Yes.
Not every Sunday,
Yes.
but as necessary.
Oh wow, that's very
Daddy
interesting.
he could do anything.
Yeah. And back in those days, I suppose you did whatever it took.
Yeah, right. You had to,
Yeah.
whatever you could do and had the urge to do, you could do.
That's fascinating.
But I was saying my mother's siblings all left the island but her. I
Wow.
guess because she was in love at the time or whatever, but she never moved away. She'd
She
lived
never
here
moved
all
away.
her life.
Okay.
And because of the little boats that plied between here and Central America, they went like to Honduras, Belize, different areas.
Right.
But they didn't go too far afield
Yes.
back then.
So where do you guys think you get your singing talent from? I know there's a famous songwriter and singer in the family.
All of us used to sing.
Yeah, Aunt Leela was a
Dad and Mama,
songwriter.
even.
Mother and Daddy had beautiful voices
They
too.
both had beautiful
But-
voices.
And then the brothers.
Yeah,
they
in the
sang.
early days, during the war and everything, this one had a radio.
You bet.
And when she came home from school, that radio was turned on to what was it? The Hit Parade, I think it was
And then there
called.
was something else too.
And you dare not touch that radio. That was hers.
Yes.
You're the only one had a radio. I never got anything like that.
I was really.
But I think this is
Lucky.
where we kind of learned to sing better.
Yes.
The pronunciations and all of that, the singing.
You'd listen to the radio.
So I think was listening to these songs and things over the radio that helped us to sing better.
Wonderful.
We all the brothers sang very well too.
Yeah.
Eddington, what they call him, Eddington. He was the oldest brother. He's had a beautiful voice, and I think he wanted it to go on for something special, like
Yeah, he wanted to
he
get
wanted
into
to
the,
be
the singing
a singer out, but
age, singing
it didn't.
stuff. And he wrote songs that were quite
Yeah.
beautiful, but they're very romantic.
Of course, it would
Yeah,
be.
and it's, but of course, all of that got washed away in Ivan. We know the words. Gracie particularly she remembered a lot of stuff.
Wow.
But and they weren't long songs.
Yes.
but they
yes.
had a lot of meaning.
Right. So you had some of his recordings?
Yeah,
Oh.
his wife did.
Oh wow. And unfortunately, that was lost during Ivan.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
My sister-in-law, Eddingston's wife, saved everything like that. But when they built a home up in Frank Sound, and the sea went right through it, clear across into the swamp.
That was
But
a bad time.
when they were getting ready, when they were cleaning up, there was a huge, big pile of sand, and digging it up, and doing whatever they had to do. There was the Bible in the middle of this heap, which is amazing that it would have survived. And it was still in pretty good shape. Yeah.
Wow. So you got multiple songwriters. You were just mentioning Miss Leela.
Yeah, Aunt Leela.
Yeah, she was your aunt.
Oh, she wrote so many things. I don't know how she could think of the things she wrote about.
Yes. And
A
so
dear lady.
she wrote our national
Song.
song. Yeah.
It was a dear lady.
At every occasion, she wrote a song. Everything. The ships came in, she had a song about it. The airlines came in, she had
A song about it. That's how she expressed herself, was through writing music and
Yeah.
yeah.
And she lived on the waterfront.
Yes.
I kind of think I can imagine her just sitting there looking out on the ocean and these words just flowing into her
Being
mind.
inspired by that scenery. Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so wonderful.
Cayman is so built up now, you see. It used to be just a little island with one or two things in it that are a little different, but today it's all got so many buildings and so much.
So I'm told that you can sing New York and you can give us the full orchestra version. You think you might be up for
New York, New York. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
That's me. Shirley must have done that.
she's feeling a little bit shy today.
Not me.
How about Yesterday, All My Troubles?
Oh, that is, I love that.
Yeah, give us a couple lines of that one. Why not?
Come on.
Not easy to sing now.
Don't be shy. Take your time.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though it's here.
They're here to stay.
They're here to stay.
For I believe
Yes, and
in yesterday.
Suddenly,
Suddenly, I'm not half the girl I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Yesterday came suddenly. Why he had to go, I don't know. He wouldn't say. I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. I believe in yesterday. I believe in yesterday.
I love that song. I just love it.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Oh gosh,
I
sounds beautiful.
But if the voice was prettier than it is right now, I could sing it better even.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I can see that you have a lot of passion for music,
Oh,
and
I do.
certain songs take you back maybe to a certain time in your life.
Yeah.
I was a happy person. A happy person. I've had times, I guess, that a little bit of sorrow now and again.
Yes.
But most of the time, I'm still a happy person.
Yes.
Well, of course, Charlie would say things wrong about it.
Well, you seem to have a really good sense of humor as well.
Well, of course.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
she's been a humorous person.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So we're gonna prompt you again to see if we can get you started with New York.
keep singing it new. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. In old New York. Oh, it's not good now. Da
If
da
I
da
can-
da da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. In old New York, if I can make it here, I can make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York. Doggone it.
Hit the button.
Ah, beautiful. You hit a high note there. Absolutely gorgeous.
It would be good if I
Yes.
wasn't broken to pieces right now, my throat.
That's okay. Absolutely gorgeous. Wow. I can see why people wanted to stop and listen to.
Anything
Yes.
else?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm trying to think of a good maybe a good hymn that you might elicit some memories for you.
My eyes are running.
But as
I'm
you
not
say.
crying, but my eyes are running.
Oh, okay.
Old folks do that.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm old, you know.
Yes. Well,
Oh, you know, so
that's
many, we know so many old hymns, and now nothing is.
yeah, it's
Springing to mind.
how about How Great Thou Art? Is that one you might remember?
Oh, I thought it
When
was
I
something
look-
biting.
I'm not sure. When I look down,
I forget it was dark.
I know
Which one?
how great thou art. O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made. I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. We better leave it.
Beautiful,
I said we better
beautiful.
leave it there because we forget half of it.
Oh my goodness, so
It
so
would be
beautiful.
nice if I was singing it the right.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Well, everybody
So I
understands.
can definitely see why if somebody was walking by and they heard these lovely voices, they would be tempted to stop and say, "What's going on here? Let me enjoy this a little bit longer."
Yeah.
So wonderful! Wow, absolutely gorgeous.
Well,
Yeah.
all I can say, I had a wonderful life,
Yes.
a beautiful life. A little now and again, some
Yeah.
little sorrow or something, but the most of it is I had a good life. Mom and Daddy were good to us. They treated us good. They taught us well, and I think it stayed on us.
Yes, absolutely. Very beautiful. Yes. So, not just this week, we actually lost the Queen.
Yeah.
Yes, that was so
Dear
sad.
That was
Queen.
very, very
I loved
sad.
her,
Yes.
dear
Yeah.
Queen.
Yes.
It's just like she just
Gone
sort
to
of
glory.
went away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Active up until what, 2 days
2 days
before?
before. Yeah, that was something.
Yeah.
Did you have an opportunity to meet her during any of her visits?
No, I
No.
was in crowds with, but no.
Yeah.
I was there very close, but then I was dying to hug her up, but of course you couldn't do anything
Yes.
like that.
Yeah. She is still the Queen after all.
You're right, right.
Yes. So, when you get to a certain age in life, I guess you sort of reflect on your entire life, really. And I know your sister has said what a beautiful life that she has had. Miss Beth, what do you think about, do you reflect more on your children as, you know, perhaps your greatest accomplishment? Like, what do you think about when you reflect on your own life?
I had a happy life. I had, like Joe, I've had a few little things that have kind of knocked the props from under me.
Yes.
But basically, I guess, I guess raising the children was really a big part of it.
Yes.
You know, getting them to this age, and now they think that they're the boss and I'm a child.
Yes.
Be careful where you step, and don't do this and don't do that.
Right now.
They're looking out for you.
Yeah, they do care a lot of
Yes.
for my safety and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been blessed. I've been blessed in so many ways. So many ways. I mean, little things that most people wouldn't think about. And to me, it's a blessing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
So-
I loved being in the church. I worked in the church, not as an employee, but
Part of our life, wasn't
in
it?
the choir. I was an elder. I taught Sunday school. The bazaars as a youngster, we would help out with,
Right.
and any activity that was put on.
Yes.
So life for me was really, I suppose, revolved so much on the Christian side of it.
Yes. Beautiful.
Definitely.
Right.
But I have 3 wonderful children. Yeah,
Yes.
I do. And they're mouthy sometimes. I thank God.
okay.
I thank God for them every day.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And what did the two of you spend your days doing now? But what's a typical day
We
like?
that
don't
thing in the
fight,
corner?
Thank God we
The
don't
TV.
fight.
This
I
is a
said, thank God we
TV.
don't
This is a
fight.
TV queen.
Oh, okay.
That's going from 10 o'clock in the morning
No.
till 10
Oh,
o'clock at
don't lie
night.
about things you have. I give you up to Papa.
Well, Jo doesn't. She's has a she doesn't walk very
Okay.
much. She has
Yes.
a walker,
Oh,
so
well,
she has to be very careful.
Yes.
So her activities are minimum, and I still get around. I can't drive right now. The children have the car. They
Yes.
needed it for various things that came up, and now Frank has to borrow it because his truck was in the garage,
Sure.
and it's taking 3 or 4 weeks to get the parts. And it's been at least 3 months that I haven't driven.
Okay.
So even now I'm thinking about it. Do I really feel up to it?
Yes.
They
right.
definitely don't want me driving.
Yes.
Not with the traffic and that sort
Yeah.
of thing.
But you still do a little bit of gardening club. I've seen you at cooking
Yeah,
class.
I like to go to the garden club, but I can't do a lot of the activities that they do. But it's a nice outing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
she does a little gardening around the place.
I do a little bit of
Yes.
gardening, but
Not
it's-
nothing big. But I
Beautiful.
can't do any of that kind of thing, anything like
Yeah.
that.
bending, for a lot, it's difficult.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
But I walk. Sometimes my helpers will take me for a walk down the street, up and down the street, and I was taking physio, which I think helped me, but I don't know what happened. I got sick. I think I must have had COVID, but all of my tests were negative. So after 5 or 6 days, I said, "Was this strange?" But I did have a little bit of sore throat and runny nose, and tired.
Yes.
Made me so tired. So
But you got
that cut down on some of my activities.
On some of your activities. Yeah. Well, that's
I
understandable.
get to the shop sometimes. They take me shopping for the groceries and things
Yeah.
like that. I haven't been getting out to church, which I'm disappointed about. But living here and the children in Georgetown, it's up and down to pick me up and then take me back. It's a lot.
Yeah. So I've been told to ask you about some pumpkins. Do you grow pumpkins?
We didn't know we were growing pumpkins.
Oh,
Yeah, my gardener at the time just planted some seeds out. A little Filipino guy, wonderful.
Okay.
And he did my gardening. So down in the back, it's a swampy area, only if we have a lot of rain.
right.
If the water will come up. But
Oh, beautiful.
he planted some seeds. And then he left the island because he was rollover.
Okay.
And my Sharon's helper came down one day, and she was wandering around in the backyard, and oh my goodness, look at this! And there were 7. 2 of them were massive. One weighed 47 pounds,
Oh my gosh.
and one weighed 30 something. And then they
Wow.
kind of tapered down to like 12 pounds.
So you had a proper pumpkin
And
patch.
they were the best.
Wow.
Best.
Amazing.
So I can't take credit actually for
Yes,
planting
yes,
them,
yes.
but we enjoyed them. Gave some away. A couple of people came by and wanted to buy, but I think one of the last ones I did sell to a man at the garden club. He was desperate. I said, but I don't want to sell my pumpkin. It's going to soon be finished. Mom, I really want to buy that pumpkin. I'd give anything for it.
Wow. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So they were big.
They were
very
huge.
big.
For me, I've never seen any that large.
That's
I'm sure there
wonderful.
there
Yes.
have been.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, ladies, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with us so we could get to know a little bit about Miss Josephine and Miss Beth and, what you guys have been up to here.
I hope we haven't wasted your day.
No. We had a really lovely time visiting with you. It's just, this project is all about trying to capture our individual stories, which make our collective history as a people. And it's so interesting that it's like every person I speak to, there are these common themes from certain generations of people going to sea, growing up. Some of the same things that you've described I've heard before about growing up poor but didn't know you were poor, growing up very simple lives. So Caymanians share a lot. There's a common thread throughout all of her stories,
Right.
and it's just so amazing to hear it from different perspectives. So I thank you for taking the time to share your stories and a little bit about your family history with us as well.
You're welcome.